Hey, welcome to this week scenario. So, well, about this week's scenario, um, it says that um, you really you are really motivated by the success of the company you are working for, and now you are wondering how you will make things more portable and scalable in the future. You start to ask yourself, what if our CPU dimension significantly, and what if I have to be ready to deploy this database at different locations? You decide to use Docker to prepare all possibilities. So, want to know about Docker? Docker is an open platform for developers shipping and running applications. Docker enables you to separate your applications from your infrastructure so you can deliver software quickly. With Docker, you can manage your infrastructure in the same ways you manage your application. I know that Docker has their own image, storage, and platform. This software can contain some basic Linux commands, and we can move things from this location to another location without any errors and make the developer life easier. Docker does not apply memory limitations to containers by default. The host kernel's schedule determines the capacity provided to the Docker memory. This means that in theory, it is possible for the Docker container to consume the entire host memory. So therefore, Docker has nothing to do with the host storage except the CPU. The Docker manage all the data through the containers and make the developer um, works easier. So step one is to verify the container that I made or up and running this 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 week. So as we can see that we can successfully create a um container um a container named Loving Checksum, and through port 144, and if we sign in through the SQL server, we use that port 144 to sign in through SQL server using that Docker container. So for step two, that it says to um, complete a full backup of all the 6 database except those database that has a log size more than 100 megabyte. So this query was given for us to determine which megabyte size of or which database that we must back up. So as you can see, um, there are yeah, there are 3 megabyte size that are more than or equal to 100 megabytes. So these are the database that we need to restore plus the sample, but except the world imported. For step three, to copy the full backup files into containers. By doing that, we need the PowerShell by PowerShell to determine the folder where all of our backup file that has been saved from the local host. So we can see that I create another folder in the backup file and in the backup folder that contains the six database six database except the world importer database. And we are going to use these two commands, which to find the the folder that were all of our backup file um that 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 were stored in. So we will be using PowerShell and then use the the path file which shown here, cd and then program file all the way to week 9 full backup. But make sure to add the quotation to the space where those folder that has space in it. So we don't have this error as shown here. And then we use ls to verify those backup files that are stored in week 9 full backup folder. So and then comes through all the way to use Docker cp, which means to copy the database into the loving checksum where it has the home folder of loving checksum contained. And then my step 4 is to verify that all the backup files that are already in the domain. So by doing that, verify all the folder or files that has been restored or copied into loving checksum container. We will be using the open terminal and then ls, or we firstly it shows all these folders, but what we need to use is the home, since we copy the database file into loving checksum home folder. So we use the cd directory home and then ls to verify all the database that file that has been copied into Docker loving checksum container. So for step 5, as you can see, I was able to use the port 144, which is shown here, 144, to log into SQL Server using the Docker container. And now I can restore all the backup files from the local host into this localhost Docker um so basically we already know that or verify that all the database file that has been already stored or copied inside the the Docker container, which is loving checksum and has a port of 144. So by doing that, we are going to go to database and then restore database. By, by that, we're gonna go to device and add, and then find the home where it has all the 6 database file that we copied inside the Docker container of loving checksum. So, for example, we're gonna go and accept that, click on that, and then OK, and then OK. Especially, or it's up to us if you want to change the name, the name of the database. So for me, the easier way I identify the file that I restored inside the localhost 144 board from the Docker container is to add a week 9 full backup in all those database. But the most important thing is to click and check the relocate all files to folder. So the restore can be successfully. So, and for step 6, it it will show or verify that all this database contain and information. So let's go to the table, and then click on the table and select the top 100. So there you go. It has the data for all the rows and columns, same as the database that in our local host server. So for the next step, that I will going to create the job inside this local host 144 port from the loving checksum Docker container. And by doing that, I'm going to create a job that it will automatically um, back up the files, the database files, but by using the full backup in every Sundays. And I will going to demonstrate that into the part 2 of my video.